start mapping adverse event data, log into Admin UI and select the study you want to map adverse event data to. Select the clinical study data set that you want to add the data to and click Edit. From the clinical study setup menu, select Create Mappings to the source data. Click Add. And from the data type, select Adverse Events. Enter your file location if you have it. And remember to enter the file format at the end. Uncheck the predict columns if you don't want space on past mappings and click OK. This presents you with the adverse event mapping table. This is quite comprehensive as it builds out the four main visualizations in the adverse events view: AE subject count, AEs over time, AE table and AE summary. As it's quite a complex mapping table, it's advised to start mapping the mandatory columns first. You can see there's a number of mandatory columns. Start mapping the source data columns to the data fields in the mapping table. Study identifier, study part identifier, subject identifier. The next one is AE start date. When mapping the source data column for AE start date, as it's a date, we need to select the aggregation function that matches the format in the source data file. In the source data file, it's stay first. The next one to map is maximum severity. When mapping the maximum severity, you will need to map all the columns that contain grade changes in the source file, including the starting severity grade. Multiple columns are mapped by then adding a comma and a space. Enter the name of the next column that you want to take the AE grade from. As this is a complicated mapping, just check that your source data columns mapped here are the columns that refer to columns where the source data contains an AE grade change. So we have AE starting grade, AE severity grade change 1, AE severity grade change 2, and AE severity grade change 3 columns in the source data file. For this particular mappings then, you then need to select the aggregation value, maximum value. This will allow the maximum value from the different source columns in the source data file containing the grade changes over time to be selected. The next one to map for mandatory fields is Medra system organ class. And finally, MEDRA preferred term. Just do a check that you have mapped all the mandatory fields. If you're happy that everything's mapped and mapped correctly, then move down the table, select confirm the mappings are correct, and click save. The mappings are successful. You will get a pop-up box to let you know. Click OK.